She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy Gazpacho.
Sports can take a lame gorilla, okay?
Advice, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the talkies. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm not even gonna comment on that. You know what? Speaking of managers, let's get into the U.S. men's national team corner. Let's get into the U.S. roster that was released on Monday for the training camp roster, essentially aka the Copa America roster with one extra player. Boys, some surprises here. Sean Johnson was included with the goalkeepers. You're not really going to see that many crazy reactions to it, a third goalkeeper. But then we see a name on there. A dominant player, if you were talking about basketball. When it comes to defending, even in the MLS, dominant is the last word, you might say. It is Shaq Moore being on this roster. We have, then in the midfield, Timmy Tillman has joined from LAFC. A very interesting inclusion there. And then up top, there is no debate on the striker currently. There is all four of our strikers in that forward pool. Gregg Berhalter did say that he sees Haji Wright being able to play that winger role a little bit more. Boys, is the addition of Shaq Moore a surprise? Is anything to be upset about? Or is it quite simply Serginho Dest is out and our outside back positions have zero depth, even if we're choosing the wrong zero depth in terms of Shaq Moore? Mike, what do you think?
Dude, we can do better than Shaq Moore. I mean, get creative. Don't bring him. Bring a better player and suffer and don't have another defender. Or bring somebody in the MLS who's playing better. Bring DeJuan Jones. Bring Julian Gressel, who's played outside back for Inter Miami.
Wait.
Those
are better players than Shaq Moore. I'm not saying
we're not saying bring Julian Gressel.
Yeah.
Is Julian Gressel better player than Shaq Moore? 100%.
Are we sure?
1,000%. Yes, dude. But I mean, that's a clown pick. Is it surprising? Not really. It's Gregg Berhalter, and he brings always some goofball with him to every tournament he goes to. Happens to be Shaq Moore this time around. Timmy Tillman's a really bad one. I think that's the worst one with the amount of players who could be in the team.
Camp, brother, he's out.
I don't care. You should be in the camp.
He's that extra player. I will say that we are missing a chance to get Leonard Maloney in camp. I think if you're talking snubs, that would be maybe the one choice. He started just about every game in the Bundesliga this season. And Gregg Berhalter just, let's let LAFC 8 that isn't necessarily in any type of good form, I would say. Just a so-so MLS player. But that is what Shaq Moore is as well. So I see Timmy Tillman getting knocked off when they have to knock off the one player to get it down to 26 here, Nick. Is Shaq Moore just kind of coasting along just because there are no other real right back options? That Gregg Berhalter obviously likes him, brought him to the World Cup, played him in the World Cup. He was terrible, but he obviously likes Shaq Moore. Is it just he's coasting by because he's kind of just there? Availability?
Yeah, I mean, they need someone, so they grabbed him. Is Shaq Moore good at basketball? Was that the comment you made earlier? Am I?
No, Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal, ever heard of him?
His name is Shaq.
Come on, Chuck.
Okay, but I don't know. I get the connection there, but relax. Yeah, no, I mean, he's not going to get cut. He's going to be there. They're going to cut Timmy. Timmy's horrible. He's really just not a good player. I wonder if it's like Malik's birthday or something during the camp. They just needed Timmy there to like organize a secret dinner, you know? So I don't know what's going on, but the roster I think is fairly standard. There's not a ton of right back options. Sure, you could say DeJuan Jones, but we get on Berhalter for a lot. Let's save our criticism for some of the bigger moments that are surely coming this summer instead of nitpicking the backup right back.
And Nick, other Nick here, Gregg Berhalter came out with a quote when he was asked about his right back options. He said, "Yeah, I mean, obviously we lost Serginho Dest. We still have options like Tim Weah, Weston McKennie, and Yunus Musa."
Hell yeah, bro.
Along with Joe Scally. So he is, if you're saying two different midfielders and a winger can play right back, is Shaq Moore truly just fuck it? If everything else isn't working and we need a right back, I mean, Weston McKennie and Yunus Musa at right back would be quite a move in a Copa America match. Is that just Gregg Berhalter yapping, or do you think he actually would do that?
I mean, there's some history behind that. This season, you saw Yunus Musa played a couple games at wingback for AC Milan when they had some injuries. Calabria was out. Definitely not his best position. He's by far better in the midfield, and I think he's a player that should start in the midfield for the U.S. or at least have some minutes in the midfield at his best position. He's good enough to make an impact there. Timmy Weah also has played wingback for Juventus this season a little bit. Also not his preferred position. I don't think we have such great squad depth at winger or at center mid that these guys should necessarily be pushed back to right back. If we need to, I guess I might take either of them over Shaq Moore. But Weston McKennie at right back, I don't understand at all. I mean, he's clearly an anchor in the midfield for the United States, so that would be insane to put him at right back. I don't know who's sliding into midfield to replace him. But I would rather see these guys play their actual positions in the camp. And if you get to the Copa America and it's between them and Shaq Moore for them to get minutes, maybe. I don't know. Shaq Moore was abysmal in the World Cup, and I don't really want to see him starting in a big game for the U.S. again. But hopefully it doesn't get to that, and we don't have to rely on a backup right back.
Really
if
quickly,
I see Shaq Moore go up against like Vinicius, it's over.
Yeah, that's
I'm
game
turning
over.
on the TV.
really quickly, are we just not considering Tyler Adams at right back? Hasn't he played there like pretty extensively throughout his career? Isn't he like? Doesn't that help
Only
solve
really
some
in
of that
his youth,
midfield
sure.
depth problems?
But Tyler Adams has had a lot of tweaks to his back recently, and I don't know how ready he would be in a physical right back position. I don't know if he's going to be able to play that much in this Copa America. I think it's going to be interesting because with Bournemouth, he got back, played one game for them, and then has had back injuries since. I just don't think you can rely on him. I think he's a bit of a wild card to actually play him as something you need to rely on to play a full 90, and I don't think you want to be swapping out right backs too often.
We're
Weren't
dissing
you
Joe
talking
Scally
about-
heavy, by the way. I mean,
Yeah,
Shaq Moore's
Joe
not
Scally- Joe Scally's the
in the
starter.
conversation. Joe Scally should have the position down. Yeah, he had a shit cup or whatever, the Nations Cup,
League.
the pretend tournament that I love, that we win all the time. But he should still have a real shout. He should get a look in these friendlies in camp. And then if it's not working, then you adjust. But that should be the guy.
Yeah, it should be Joe Scally. I just think the possibility of Shaq Moore getting minutes is
He's not
like,
going to get it.
Where's
jump
DeAndre
scare.
Yedlin? Bring him back.
Let's
Wait.
not.
Where is he now?
Back.
Is that Cincinnati?
Cincy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, Joe Scally, if he is going to have a chance to lock it down, I know we said this about Nations League, he really does need to do well here because he has been giving the chances like in Nations League to make some bit of a claim on it. Obviously now Serginho Dest is going to be out for a while, so he has some time to make a claim to that spot, but in the other examples, he's not looked great. Uruguay, Morocco, not great showings. Against Jamaica, he gets subbed off at halftime, and Weston McKennie is playing right back. So it's really down to Joe Scally has to either kind of nut up or shut up here. He's either taking that right back spot, that backup right back, or he's not going to be trusted at all. Because obviously, mentioning a Tim Weah, a Weston McKennie, he already did replace Joe Scally for a Weston McKennie once. So, Mike, if Joe Scally doesn't work out, you're just talking about how much we need to be talking about him. If he doesn't work out, if he looks terrible in the first Copa America game that he's starting, is it kind of wraps on the trust you have in Joe Scally until he can really do something to prove it?
Yeah. I mean, if he's like shockingly bad, like a real hole in the defense, causing problems, something that the opposition is pointing out as a weak link and really going for it, then sure. Then you're like, okay, we can't trust him. We have to adjust and find someone else to satisfy this hole. But I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think he's a quality player who just needs to adjust to the pressure of playing international football. It might take time. It might be rough, but I don't think it'll be as glaring as it was in the Nations Cup. That's my hope and my thoughts.
Purely off of vibes, Jesus, my cat's going crazy. Purely off of vibes, I don't think Scally's got the aura. I'm just gonna say it. I don't like the way he
Missing a
looks.
Shaq more aura.
If it was a FIFA card, Nick, how much aura would he have? Give me a number.
It's like 68 aura. It's just not good.
Great. It's not great.
No.
It's got
It's enough to be a pro,
aura.
but not enough. Serginho Dest, I tell you what, that is aura right there. Him and Weah both. That was the fun side of the field for a while. Now we'll have to see what this U.S. team looks at like without Serginho Dest. And quite honestly, he was a gigantic creative factor for the team. So I'm a bit worried since they were already struggling to score goals. Is it down to Gio Reyna just create here, Nick Tracy? Is it Gio Reyna's team to kind of take over this summer to create more so it's not just all on Pulisic down one wing, essentially?
Man, I hope so. It's been a really disappointing year for Gio Reyna. So I think this is a good opportunity for him to get back on his feet and really be a centerpiece of this team. I think he looked great the last couple of times he's played for the United States, and he has hardly seen the field at Nottingham Forest. He'll be going back to Dortmund at the end of this season, most likely to go somewhere else. It seems like Claudio Reyna is kind of at the reins of his career, which is interesting and probably not the best thing. But yeah, hopefully he can be a creative piece in this team, show what he's done before, be a leader, and take some of that weight off Pulisic of being our main attacking guy.
Yeah, let's hope that Gio Reyna can do a little bit better than what he was able to do at Nottingham Forest, get back to his international form from Nations League performances. Let us know what you guys think about the roster here. The
I have a
Shaq
question.
Inclusion, the Timmy Tillman inclusion. What is your question here, Producer P?
Is Ludacris a U.S. men's national team fan?
That looks nothing like Ludacris.
That is a loose
some borderline racist shit right there.
Dude, like the picture I got up on my phone right now,
Well,
they could be
we would
brothers.
need to do a side-by-side of Chris Richards' afro versus Ludacris afro because Palmer might be onto something.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Isn't Luda like
it's the farthest off
That
thing,
is
but it's
serious.
also not at all the closest thing.
You got a Luda afro.
Yeah, no, I
There's
feel
Luda afro.
almost.
no.
I feel like it's almost further than what I thought it was before you brought up the side by side. I think this hurt your
Ludacris
case.
play right back. If Ludacris could play right back, sign him the fuck up.
Sign him up. Let us know if
Hot
you
bars.
think that Ludacris looks like Chris Richards. Jury is
Should he play right back?
already out on that one, and the jury has said no. But let us
Should
know
he
what
play
you
right back?
think in the
Nowhere near.
comments below.